I'm not my normal spot today, so that's why half my face is gone.
Oh, it's very cool.
But it gives more room for you, so that
Yeah, you can see me then. There you go. I thought you were purposely doing it just so you could see me in the background.
Yeah. I shaved that a little closer on that side today. Casper, I'm here with Casper Van Dien. Not that you need an introduction, but thanks for joining me today.
My pleasure, Eric.
First of all, let's talk about the flood. I kind of liken this to like assault on precinct 13 with alligators. What? What?
That's very interesting. When I was pitched, they said, Casper, this is like a movie. It's like Con Air meets Anaconda, but with alligators. But assault on precinct 13 is in there too. So that's a great way. I think they might have said that too. I'm now remembering it too.
Yeah. Well, not just you, but Louis Mandylor and Nickey, Whelan, Brandon Slate, like everyone in this movie, you guys work a lot, and actually, I'm kind of jealous. Where's the work ethic come from? Because like there's certain actors that like they're prestigious. Ooh, I only do one movie every 15 years, but like you guys just like keep going and keep going. Like, what's the difference from your perspective of that kind of work ethic in this business?
Oh, because I need the money.
Okay, well, there's that too.
No, I love acting. So some of them, yeah, you definitely take it because you need a job or you need to pay your bills and stuff like that too. But I love acting. I love being on a set. It's the most fun I've ever done. And as I've gotten older, I've had more life experience, and I think I've become a better actor as I've gotten older because I have more to draw on and more to draw from. And then I keep getting some cool scripts and some ones that I think need some work. And then I try to do the best quality films that I can get a hold of and get my hands on. And then I want to try to do something fun with it because I love watching movies. I'm addicted to them. It's my favorite thing to do in the whole world.
You're in good company there.
Thank you. And so I when I do it, I don't want to ever shortchange the audience because I don't like it when I'm shortchanged. So I try to do the best work I possibly can and try to make something fun and unique and interesting within the context of what I've been given. These roles with Louis and Brandon and Damon, I'd already worked with them on Battle for Saipan, so I knew this environment, I knew this crew and this set, and so I was excited to work with them again. And then I added Nickey Whelan. When I met her, I called my wife up and I'm like, "You're gonna love her." He goes, "Oh yeah," and I go, "Yeah." And then they came on set, and she's like, "Oh my god, I love her." I knew they would. There's just two peas in the pod, and she's amazing. She's so talented. She's beautiful. She's funny. She was great to work with. And like I said, my wife and her, they're good friends now. And my wife's always like, "Oh my God, I just talked to Nickey." And I was like, "Oh, cute." It's so much fun that they're friends now.
So that's got to add more joy to something that's already, I would think would be fun to do. Like you get to make movies, but then when you get to make movies with the same people over and over again, it's kind of like in my mind, it feels like getting a bunch of friends together. Hey guys, let's make a movie. Yeah, let's go.
As it should be. Even when you haven't worked with them, it should be a whole bunch of friends getting together because a movie, a TV show, or a play is that. It's playing. It's getting along, having fun, and that's our job. We have to make it fun for everyone. And if you're not having fun, then you're doing something wrong. And if you're not working with people that you're having fun with, then you're working with the wrong people. I've been lucky. Everybody I've worked with has either made an offer for me or I've done 10 projects with some people because I love working with them. They're great people. And these are people that I would definitely work again with.
Yeah. Also, so in the flood, as the title might suggest, you guys are in like waist deep in water a lot of the time. Now, I worked in a wash bay at a diesel shop a long time ago, and rubber boots would fill up with water, and my feet took hell from that. Did you guys go through a similar experience?
It was disgusting. So what they did is they found an abandoned building that had been abandoned for 20, 30, 40 years. That was covered in crap and dirt, and had been homeless people had lived in it, or kids had partied in it, or whatever it was. And then it had snakes and rats in it. They kind of cleaned it out and then filled it up with water, waterproofed it, and then filled it with water. And the clean water that we started with, by the time a couple hours before lunch started, so you're a couple hours in, people, it's been raining outside, so we're tracking mud in and dirt. People are getting in clothes. Like you said, we weren't in rubber boots. We were in the regular clothes that then get flooded and just covered in. So we're in the dirtiest, grossest water. People are going in and out with equipment, in and out, in and out, in and out. It just got so gross. And you already knew there were snakes and rats in it. And sometimes they have to clear it out. And then you see the bugs and other things floating that you didn't know what they were. People getting dunked in it and then they come out and go and blowing the snot out of them because they just were in that. That fight sequence I did with Louis, where he dunks me underwater, that was the last scene, last day.
And then you get right up and just throw up. That's what I was saying.
I was so gross. I'm a germaphobe too, so it's not going good for me. Okay. And but also what made it real was those snakes and the bugs and the rats and everything, like that dirty water. You don't know what's in it, and if a gator was in there, the gator would get you. So the threat of them is real, and we did go off on that. I would never go in a room that was this room right here. If I was in this room and the water was in here and I couldn't see the water and it was darker because we're less windows and everything like that, and I would know that I would try to get as high as I could and know that I could still be eaten because alligators can jump
high as you could, or
at that point that would be better. Probably at that point, you smoke a joint and just go, okay, eat me. Probably would be the smartest thing. But I would try to get as high, I would try to get up on top of things. But even then, the water's coming up and alligators can jump.
Yeah. I guess I kind of want to ask you about this movie. I'm sure you've talked to death about Starship Troopers, so I won't go in there. But I did see.
I don't mind. I talk about Starship Troopers. I love it. It's a great part of my life. I love being Johnny Rico. I love Paul Verhoeven as a director. He directed RoboCop and so many great movies. Just being in that with Ed Neumeyer, who wrote it, and just having a blast. That movie was incredible. I mean, we didn't have any bugs when we were fighting them, just like we didn't have any alligators. We're just fighting them. Yeah. But the threat for the alligators was a little bit more scary because we were in a flooded, abandoned building.
Yeah. But I did want to bring up a movie I saw of yours recently called Daughter. Holy crap, that movie's awesome. How did that come about? And you're fantastic. Everyone, I mean, that's redundant. Everyone was fantastic in that movie. But how did that movie come about?
They were really such great actors. Everybody did such a job. They were involved with it. They were all friends beforehand. They were all going to do this Vietnamese film with all Vietnamese actors and one white guy. And I'm the white guy they played. They wanted me to come in there. And I asked the director, I parted my hair down the middle. I go, how about this? And can I have the beard? He goes, yes and yes. So I would part my hair like that in the middle and then leave. And as I would leave, my wife and kids would go, oh my God, please, what is with that hair? I go, I'm going to be character. They go, can you just do it there? And I was like, I drive to work like that. And then I drive back like with that same character. And then I come back like, oh God. And they didn't know what the script was. That's how I started that one. So, and then I go do this shoot. So all this film that's all shot on film, all set in this time, me doing most of the talk. It was a magical moment. I really enjoyed that. I loved that script. My manager, when he read it, he was like, I don't know if I get it. And then afterwards, he's like, oh, I get it now.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a really fantastic movie. Also, I kind of want to talk. And I've heard actors talk about like other actors where they're like, oh, the thing they're doing is like really it blows my mind the things they're doing, but I'm not an actor, so I don't understand what that means. When you see other actors or other actors see you, what do you look for in other actors that you think is like really amazing, or something like when they say what they're doing there, what's the thing that they're doing that you can maybe describe to a lay person like myself that doesn't quite understand what that means?
Well, I think even the lay people get to understand. I think that, in doing a play, in doing a theater production, a movie production, any TV, whatever it is, you want to go back to being as authentic as we were when we were kids and when we were playing, like Cowboys and Indians or astronauts or, whatever roles, Mortal Kombat, whatever we're playing, everybody would take the roles and believe that they were doing that. And they'd just be like, I'm this guy right now. Okay, I'm the Queen of England. And they can just put on that uniform. So as actors, we have to train ourselves to go back to that innocence of a child that can be as real and authentic in the role. So I look for authenticity and also their ability to listen. Because I find it more interesting when I'm watching somebody listening to somebody else talk. I find myself drawn to the person to watch how they're comprehending or getting or listening to this person, that they're really truly listening. I think that's the most important thing. And I think we need to do that in life more general than people just talking at people. I don't think it's as entertaining as is a conversation. So when people are actually truly authentically listening to each other, I think it makes things more fascinating and more interesting. And I want to watch that more.
So is that where like a lot of the ad-libbing comes in, where you're kind of locked in the moment and someone says something and then you come back with something that might not be in the script, but it just totally works with that scene that you're doing?
Ad-libbing can work in some things, and it's great in some things, and some things it's just not right. Sometimes it depends on what the script is and how good the script is, because ad-libbing can be great, but sometimes it's just too much.
Yeah.
I think that when less is said and more is, when you don't treat the audience like an idiot, but you give them the opportunity to figure things out themselves. Like, you don't have to give, like, I don't think that all the exposition in the world is not necessarily the greatest. Sometimes it's perfect and you need it, and you need exposition, but sometimes they'll explain too much. If they're explaining too much and they're treating the audience like an idiot because, like, well, if we don't say it, they're not going to know, then you're really doing your job. You really have to have people know the through line for the movie without having it have to be said necessarily.
Like oh my, I'm so sad. It was like, I can see the tears. I get it.
Yeah. If you can have the tears, there's nobody said why you don't need to have I'm crying now, or oh, you're crying, like that part of it can weaken it unless it's part of the comedy of it or whatever. But I there's a thin line there with over explaining things and or if you have to explain things that much, then sometimes you're not doing the job right, I think.
Yeah. What's like a piece of acting, whether it's something you did or someone or both, that's like that this is like textbook, that watch this scene of this person doing this thing, this will give you a great idea of what great acting can be.
Oh, great acting. I think you can just look at Robert Downey Jr. as Charlie Chaplin.
Oh, that's a good one.
He was, I believed him in that role completely. I mean, there's so many actors that are amazing. I even think that John Wayne was incredible, just being a man's man, because it's not always the easiest thing to do. But Steve McQueen in most of his movies, even in The Magnificent Seven, him just sitting in the back, just twirling his hat, pissing Yul Brynner off because he's stealing the scene without saying a single word. Those are the things I think, the magic moments. I mean, there's so many great actors. Anything Meryl Streep does, just put her in there. And Daniel Day-Lewis, you got all these actors that are just phenomenal. But I think Johnny Depp is like that way in certain ways too, because you can see him, or even I think that the best quality is like we fall in love with people too sometimes, like Keanu Reeves, who's one of the kindest people in the world. Everybody can see that, and just his you want to root for him. So you want to root for him in everything he does because of who he is as a person. I would like to be half as kind as he is as a man, and then I think I would be a better person.
Yeah, I hear some people say oh, Al Pacino is just playing himself. I'm like, oh, I mean, he's got a certain timbre and cadence to his voice that just won't go away. But at the same time, I'm locked in the scene. I'm buying everything he's selling.
People can. It's easy to pick apart other people, but I mean, he is authentically an incredible actor who is whatever he is. Like Nick Cage is amazing in what Nick Cage does. Like everybody has a way, and if it works for them and then people like it, that's half the battle. Like, people go to me, they've said to me before, they go, oh, do you really hate that people still, the main thing they notice you from the Starship Troopers? And I go, no, it's one of the greatest compliments in the world. It's that somebody screams at me still to this day of a movie I did 27 years ago, and they'll still scream at me.
Guilty.
But they scream the quotes. My kids have heard people yelling at me my whole life. You know how awesome that is? It's because they're not yelling at me like I want to kill you and hate you. They're yelling at me because they really can't help it, because they like that movie. That's a compliment to the magnificence of the collective creativeness of acting, because it's not just actors, it's everybody that's involved. Can't do it without the stuntman, can't do it without the director, the writers, producers, can't do it without the crew. We can't do it without everybody. So the audience has to like it. Then it's got to be something that, there's so many aspects to it. The movie, people have to really promote it right. Everything's got to be done right. You have something like that, you have magic moments, and that's the thing I love about acting. And then I get to talk to people about acting, which is my favorite thing, because I love watching acting. I love watching movies and films and shows, and I love talking about them, and I love watching interviews about actors and movies and directors and people on things. It's just fun. And, it gets us out of those moments of, it also gives us in our imagination where we can be more creative and be better people.
Yeah. Well, Casper, thanks for taking the time today. I really enjoyed talking with you, and I'm a big fan of yours. And everyone listening, The Flood will be available in theaters, on demand, and digital on July 14th. Assault on Precinct 13 with alligators.
Awesome, man.
What more do you need to know?
It's all good, man. Thank